Hello, this is Mark Wildman of Wildman Athletica, and today we are going to open a big box of equipment from Pso-rite. Today's opening implement will be a knife from Cold Steel. This is an older model. They have a new version of this out which has a Kydex sheath, not a leather sheath. Tontos are not what you would call the most useful utility knife because of the shape. They tend to have very thick spines, and they're essentially a giant chisel meant for penetrating objects. But this knife is a classic. The psoas is a muscle that most people don't really know about or understand, but it is the reason that the majority of people in the modern world have back pain. Think of your psoas as a fan of muscle that can connect the front of your hips up here into your back. It is a big fan of muscles that moves through your body from front to back. When people sit down a lot, when they drive for work, when they sit in the office, that muscle tends to shorten. They tend to stick their butt out, their lower back cramps, and they get a big round belly shape. By doing proper training with kettlebells and clubs, people tend to balance out the length-tension relationship of their psoas, their abs, their hips, all on accident, just by doing the basic 6 movements of kettlebell training: the swing, the clean, the snatch, the press, the Turkish get up, and a bunch of versions of squats. And when they combine that with heavy club swinging and they learn to rotate about their central axis, they tend to also balance out the length-tension relationship of the psoas. People who've had back pain for a long time will often need some help along the way in order to get the length-tension relationship of that psoas correct again. There are a lot of exercises you can do to do that, and if you go to physical therapy, but it tends to take a lot of time and it tends to take a lot of knowledge to do them correctly. Oh wow, this is a lot of stuff. This is what is in this box. The original Pso-rite is something that I immediately recognized as being a very, very good idea because I had 10 years of physical therapy. I ripped my leg in half training for the circus one time. I didn't walk for about 6 months. It messed up the way that my spine worked for years afterwards. I trained with kettlebells and clubs and did a whole series of logical science-based programs to work on balancing out the way my spine moved on both sides of the spine again. And part of that was getting massage therapy twice a week for 10 years at $200 a pop, $400 a week. Insurance tends to only cover 12 sessions. That is not enough for most people to recover and to regain their previous level of health, athleticism, and pain-free movement. When I went to physical therapy, they did a bunch of psoas releasing techniques. Think of it like Indiana Jones in the Temple of Doom. They take their hand, they stab it into your abdomen, and they pluck your psoas like it's a guitar string in order to get it to relax. That allows people to get back to a good standing posture and helps them remove pain. Good training focused on rotating and lifting weights and crossbody stabilization and psoas release techniques. Pso-rite is a company that made a product that allowed people to do that on their own with really no training, which is really genius and a very, very good idea. Wow, there's a lot of stuff in here. Okay. We're going to go through this. This is going to take us a while here. I don't know what these 3 boxes are. I don't know. We're going to find the original Pso-rite first. There it is. The original Pso-rite. And they sent it to me in my favorite color, black, because it goes with everything. When you go to physical therapy, they take their hand, they stab it into your body. This does the same thing. It stabs into your body. You can either lay on it or push it into your body to find that. I like to lay on it at the end of every workout for 3 minutes. You can do it on one side. If this distance is not correct for your body, you can lay on it and move it left and right until you find that muscle. You'll know when you find it. You tend to jump out of your skin the first couple of times, but this is essentially 2 hands stabbing directly up into your psoas when you lay on it. We have some other videos on that basic main technique. Pso-rite original, and Pso-rite has a whole new series of products that we're probably going to make videos on as we go. I see 2 of these. Oh, these are stabby gear rolls. Stabby gear roll 1, stabby gear roll 2. I think that this is called the Pso neck. Think of these as a bunch of little fingers stabbing up into your body. This angle is so you can lay on it and place your neck over it to help people relax the muscles of their neck and get rid of a forward-leaning head posture. I think this is called the spine. Think of this as fingers that will stab up on either side of your spine. A whole book on how to use it. This is great. Look at this. Full, beautiful color. I'm going to go through this whole thing because I need to improve my upper thoracic mobility for competition kettlebell lifting. This is a 105-page manual with not a lot of fluff in it. This looks like every page is actually useful. That is awesome. I don't remember what this one is. Is this another version of the Sew back? I'll find out, I'll figure out, and I'll get you guys better names over time. The flat version, the curved version. One more gear. We now have a total of 3 gears. My God, this is a lot of stuff. How do I open this box? Oh, I just pull on it until it rips. And, look at this little bad boy. I had one of these before, but I didn't really understand how to use it. I understand now that this is supposed to be a self-myofascial device so that you can carry a small item around and use it for like gua sha or massage techniques where you're dragging something along your body. Gua sha is something that everybody should investigate if you have a lot of pain. It's an old massage technique from Asia. It's kind of hard to find unless you're in a major city, but anybody who works for a living should really get gua sha all the time. And wow, we have a whole pile of these little Pso-rite keychain bad boys in a bunch of different colors. And it's got a little lanyard hole so I can tie it on so I don't lose it, because I keep losing things when I travel around the world. This is a connector. The Pso-rite original, I carry one of these around when I travel around the world. It goes in my backpack and it goes on the plane with me as carry-on. When you're sitting down for long periods of time, that is your best friend. We have a flat Pso spine, I think. We have a curved Pso spine. I believe this is the Pso neck, PSO, Pso as in psoas. Psoas, psoas. We have a medium size. We have a box full of the little ones to carry around. We have our book. And now I'm assuming that this rubber flexi component goes with whatever is in these 3 boxes. Oh, their catalog got really big. This will be a self-myofascial tool. I like this bag. I have a great affinity for well-designed Ziploc bags made out of hardcore plastic. I've got a couple of loose items. So if you pull hard enough, you can get off that end and you can change what is on this to spiky items in a bunch of places. And this will allow you to do things like roll out your quads, and that gear will allow you to target specific parts of your legs. This is going to be fantastic for me. I have knee issues from having my legs rebuilt, so I get tight muscles in specific parts of my leg, specifically the VMO of my quad. I'll be able to set this up with different spaces between the gears in order to specifically target muscles that are tight. Pso-rite is really killing it as a company right now. And we have a third. I believe this rubber connector is going to allow these 2 things to go together to make a giant vice-like monstrous crushy thing. That's a technical term, monster crushy thing. Barn is going to be littered with Pso-rite pieces. Looks like our rubber joint piece slides directly over the handles, over the handle of one of these rollers. And you can connect them together to make a clamp of utter destruction. I think that this is going to allow you to do compression on things like your forearms and on your quads in specific ways so that you will be able to target parts of your body that you wouldn't otherwise be able to reach by yourself. This is like a giant, awesome erector set for self-myofascial release or self-massage. This is the kind of thing that everybody should probably possess, especially people who work for a living. Working and working out are not the same thing. If you work at a physical job for 20, 30 years of your life, people tend to get really beat up. They get what's called a cumulative injury cycle. They get tweaked at work and then they go to work the next day because that's the way that people who work for a living do things. When they do that, they shift inside their body in order to keep accomplishing the task. I did this myself. I broke my foot roofing one time, and I continued to walk around on a broken foot on a roof for 3 months. It caused my whole body to shift to one side, and I got one strong leg and one weak leg. That caused one side of my spine to be strong. That caused one side of my spine to be weak. And over time, I started to acquire back pain. The way that you fix that is by good training every day, working out in a progressive and logical way to help people recenter their body all the time, and then doing things like releasing the tension that their work creates. If you say drive trucks or tractors for a living, you sit down all the time, you will get a predictable series of tight muscles that will deviate your posture over time. People think that they just get old and over time their body gets more pain. That is not true. Pain is caused by something, and it tends to be deviations in our posture. Kettlebells, clubs, do your mobility and your stretching and release the tight muscles in your body. If you work at a computer every day, release the muscles of your neck at night for 3 minutes so your body can actually relax so that you can learn to recover. Sewright is a company that I really like because they are making items that actually help people. If you don't even understand what you're doing, you could lay on this with your back every day for 3 minutes, and over time, you would remove pain. It's a great company. That's a really, really, really good idea. This whole new pantheon of products that they've created is really good. I really like this company because a lot of companies are not actually trying to solve problems. This company has taken an engineering approach to creating equipment to solve issues. People say that products like this are expensive, but when I think of this as each one of these is half of one therapy session. When I bought mine, this thing cost $70. People said that was too much money. But if you pay $200 per hour for physical therapy and you go for 10 years, that is super cheap. Think of each one of these items as costing 25 to 50% of one therapy session, and they're durable goods. They're gonna last as long as you're alive, as long as it doesn't catch on fire, it will continue to exist. Engineering is how we all get better. The world gets better every day through engineering. Better engineering in cars, better engineering in tools, better engineering in information, and better information in training. Your training programs should be science-based, they should calculate numbers, and you should work on making sure that you re-lengthen your muscles at the end of every session so that your training and your work doesn't alter your posture and make you feel and act old sooner than you should.